Well, welcome to NoChaNoMa, Simon's living room, and I'm not quite sure. There appears to be one person watching. I'm not sure who it is. It could be me. I could be on my own. I was a bit late with getting the advert out, but I just drove back yesterday from Belgium, having not done a live stream the previous week because I was busy enjoying myself. Not that I don't enjoy myself while I'm doing this, but I was out with my sons visiting my parents for their anniversary. Hello, Peppo! Hello, Dibble! Nice to see you. God, you got the link. You saw it in Jazz Samurai. No, it's you. All right. Wow, Phil's here. Brilliant. Okay. Well, I've got some jazz going on in the background. Maybe you can hear it, maybe you can't. Dibble runs away. I don't know. But anyway, I'm back. Spring has returned. Or as my friend Kimberly, if she's watching, says, Sauron has returned. No, I'm back. And I didn't have time to prepare much. So I'm having beer instead of wine, because I forgot to get wine this morning when I went to the shops. I thought, what have I got? I'm missing something. What have I forgotten? Hello, Adelabate. Hey, Adolabate. Bate. Bait. Okay. One of the two. It's all good. No, two. It went down from 3 to 2. Maybe Dibble just left because of jazz. I don't know. Oh, you were just on YouTube. Oh, good. Right. Excuse me. I'm just opening that beer. It's Gordon. Blonde oak aged. Okay. Now tell me, Peppo. Peppo warned me that my volume on my advert was not so good. Don't know why. But I've tweaked my microphone, so hopefully it's not booming in your ears. Tell me, can you hear the jazz? Can you hear me clearly? Ears are not bleeding or anything. Yes, Kimberly, it's going to be a beer show. Well, shortly I shall be transferring over to me pictures. For those of you that didn't see them on Instagram, hey, alas, hello. Oh, good, the gang's all here, nearly. I think Radri's on Twitch playing Five Nights at Freddy's, so he may not come along. The way music is where, yes, I kept it. I have to keep a balance between those that like jazz and those that don't. Yes, there's when I drive to England with my sons, it's very pleasant because they know when it's my turn to drive that I can have music on that I like. And sometimes they even put that on when they're driving as well. So we have classical music all the way up the M25, the M40 and the M6. And occasionally my younger son puts on his Spotify mix, and there's some rap and stuff that goes on there. And then because it's all equal in our car, my younger son and I allow my elder son, when he's driving, to put his music on, which is Irish and Scottish folk music and bagpipe music. So we're quite relieved when it's time to change over. Yes, well, my oldest son, yes, he limits that because he likes to listen to Irish folk music more than that when he's driving. But it's bagpipe music for 2 hours. Oh, luckily it was quite a straightforward drive this time. I think we went early enough, and so we missed all the traffic. So we passed Manchester. I thought, have we passed? We haven't slowed down. There's no queues. What's going on? You've got a Lefort Donker 10% in the fridge. I've not heard of Lefort, but 10%. That's 2% more than what I'm drinking. So go ahead. Alas, I don't know. Maybe a bit early in the day because you're about an hour. Are you an hour ahead or an hour behind? I think you're an hour behind. So it's lunchtime. It's lunchtime. You can have a beer. It's all right. Hey, Iogen. Hello. I can't hear the jazz. It's good your mic is too loud to hear it. Okay, well I can tweak that. Hang on. This is what the jazz sounds like. I shall turn it back down. Oh yes, MMLSO. MMLSO to Adolabate, Adolabate, and Iogen. I kept forgetting what the second M is for. I did have a lovely time. And did I get nice and jolly? No, I didn't get. I can't remember. I had 3. Well, slightly. I had 3 glasses of wine, but I behaved. So actually, if I could perhaps move over and regale you with pictures for those that didn't see him. So here we are. This is in the far northwest of England. If you look on the map of British Isles and you see sort of Ireland, and between Ireland and England is the Isle of Man. And if you're stood on the Isle of Man and looking towards England, you would see this, because this is right opposite the Isle of Man, which you can see on a clear day. So this is a hill just outside my parents' house. And that's one of the first things we did on the day after that my sons and I arrived. We just went for a walk up the hill just to sort of get ourselves used to the. It's the grey. It was Dibble. Yes, it was. It was grey to start with. It did improve slightly during the week. I think Tuesday was the best day, and my sister just messaged me as I left, or she posted on Facebook. So you've just gone as it's got the best weather. Oh, great. Right, so I better start this going, because otherwise you'll just be having on playlist. And start. Excuse me. So this is a hill, and on the top of the hill is a monument, which is my happy-looking sons in the wind. I sat in front of it. It's built like the shape of a lighthouse. This monument, because it's to some Admiralty chap that lived in the town in the 18th century. Yeah, the weather is lovely in England now. It's pretty good here actually as well. It's like 15 degrees and sunny and blue skies, and I'm inside. The sandy rain. Yeah, I noticed that my car is covered in. I thought, I better go and wash it this morning. And I thought, I'll take it in the supermarket and go to the. I'll go to the regular car wash. And there was a big queue. I thought, why is there a big queue? And I'll go to the supermarket and go to the car wash near there. I went to the supermarket, got my stuff, back in my car. Was actually going to do my advert using my gimbal from the car wash. And there was another big queue there. So I thought, bugger it. I'll just let it stay dirty. So this is the parish church. This is after we walked back down from that hill and we're off to my parents. We have to walk through the churchyard of the parish church in the town. Hey J-Vlog, yes, I'm very well. I just forgot to get wine and got beer instead. Or luckily had a bottle in the fridge. This is one of the very busy roads in the back sort of countryside near my parents. When I say very busy, I think there was 2 cars a day go along there. My eldest son had decided to bring some bikes, one for me and one for him, and he wanted to, get some exercise. There he is. So I said, well, let's go cycling here, and it's very steep. It goes up and down like this, and he said, I'm not doing that again. Hey, Robert, hello. So, but I think I may have done my knee in doing that, because I used to cycle on those roads there when I was his age, and got very fit, but 30 years later, not having cycled much, wasn't so fit. And then we did our first proper walk. My youngest son said, we want to go up this hill again that we often go up when we visit my parents. And the forecast was for rain from lunchtime. So I knocked on their bedroom door at 8 o'clock in the morning and said, right, get up, come on. We've got to go before the weather changes. And we got there. And it was rather nice, like sunny, but as you can see, the clouds were starting to descend. Yes, my youngest son he was ready, and my oldest son managed. He's a bit out of condition, he said himself. But my youngest son strode ahead, and I tried to keep up, and I did my knee in, I think. It's 803 meters, this hill, and it starts off gradually, but then gets pretty steep. We were the first there. You see, it's just a gradual slope there going up to the clouds that were coming in. I was looking at my watch thinking, well, I don't mind my phone rather, not my watch, and thinking, right, we've got to get up there. We've got to get up there in an hour and 20 minutes with a bit of luck, and get down in an hour and 20 minutes, and then we'll be all right. But with the sun catching, those who saw my Instagram, you'll see that the sun played on the colours of the landscape. These are the raw files, the unfiltered files, not from Instagram. Yes, it was. It had rained. So all the streams were rather full, which is nice. So it gives it a more lively feel. There you see. On Instagram, that's more intense, but that's more like the real colours. Grey, as you say, dibble, in the sky anyway, but nice and green and gold and orange. Not quite spring. Not quite the spring of the title of my nice show here. But it was, spring was starting. We saw lambs skipping in the fields. And that's the lake you can see from the hill, one of the lakes of the Lake District, which is why it's called the Lake, because there are lakes there in England. And the sun shining through the clouds onto the water. Hello, who's that? Is that Peppo telling me I'm being too loud? Oh no, it's my mate from... Oh, I'll just tell him doing it too. Right. Excuse me. Sorry. Social life. And I can wave at you and then wave at everybody else. So there we made it to the top. My youngest son's there. Mega loud shout out. Mega loud, mega love, mega loud. What does Kimberly say? Sauron has returned. Says, if you're watching, Kimberly, yes, Sauron has returned. Kimberly is possibly watching. Hello. Sauron has returned. Yes. Oh dear. So we got sort of to the top, and as we approached the clouds, we came to this little lake nestled in the bowl of the hills. And in summer 4 years ago, we were there 4 years ago, and there were people swimming in that. Wouldn't like to do that now. You're in the garden with your Lafort 10% beer. Alas is in a deck chair in her garden in sunny Wiltshire. Hopefully with headphones and that I'm not booming and across to the neighbour. I don't know. Hello, neighbours. Neighbours in Wiltshire. Come and watch. God, I've only had half a glass. So yes, that's my son doing a panoramic shot of the little lake. And then it was all hands on deck. From that point on, it gets pretty steep. But there's me doing an arty shot of the lake. Of the tarn, I should say. A glacial tarn. Maybe I can Google that. Yeah, I'm waiting for these pictures to change. I've put it on 30 seconds. I've got nothing else to say about this tarn, apart from that people bathe in it. There, they get a nice view as you go steeply up. That's what it looks like. And there's another one beyond the clouds, just sort of. I can't see. Yeah, you can't see it. But the hill is actually called hello, not that much. Konnichiwa. Konbanwa if you're in Japan. There we got to the top. And in the clouds and saw nothing. Just clouds. Normally there's a beautiful view over the lake and all the other hills in the Lake District. You're laying on the ground. I should do ASMR while you're laying on the ground. Send you into a deep, relaxing sleep. So there's my son. Got to the top. Got his phone out to take a picture. And there's nothing to see. Jazz. Yes. Yes, it's worth a visit. I mean, you can come along with all the Japanese people that come there and visit because it's very beautiful. Very similar to parts of Japan, actually. I saw a pile of rocks. Yes, basically. And Coniston Old Man. Everybody thinks that's the name of the hill. I think, why is it called Coniston Old Man? Well, Coniston, because that's the village and the lake. Koningstun, meaning the Konig. And the man Konig, his farm, and Old Man is Old Mayen, M-A-E-N, which means pile of stones, actually, in Scandinavian or whatever it was, Viking language. So it's Konig's farm's old pile of stones, which is more prosaic than Coniston Old Man. So this, when you come down from the hill, and that was picture before was the pub fireplace where we went for sandwiches, and then we drove around the other side of the lake. This is the lake, and the water had waves on it, which is not normal. Normally it's a very placid lake, but it was quite choppy, and so there where we drove along on the quieter side of the lake, and then went down to skim stones, as you do. Here's me, another glass. Yeah, I've just got one bottle, Kimberly. So I'm spinning it out. So there we are. I do have video of us skimming stones, but it's but you know how to skim stones on lakes. If you've not done that, I recommend it. It's childish but fun. This brings back memories. And then the next day, this is some woods near my parents' place. I just went for I said to my parents after breakfast, I'm just going for a stroll, feel a bit of fresh air. So I went down and I found some crocuses, which had just come up. So there we are. There's a spring element. So some crocuses in the woods, very purple, very fresh. Skipping, yeah, same kind of thing. And then the daffodils were out. I thought, well, that's very appropriate. It's spring. They should be. I grew up kind of like my father's from that area. And then my parents moved around the country a lot. And then I was born and moved around with them. And when I was 13, they moved back there. So I grew up there from the age of 13 until I went to college. And then I left again. And here we are. Here's the daffodils. Skimming stones is fun. Yes, you don't have to grow up. Which is why I'm doing this. It's actually a private woodland, but the public is allowed to go to use it as access. And these are the very modern houses that you find in my parents' neighbourhood. I think this was built in the 1870s or something like that. It's looking over from the woods. And then walking down the road to my parents' house. I've been over that hill as well. You just have to avoid sheep poo, mostly. Good shape, though. Hang on, I have to not much. Hey. Trying to ascertain what the context is. Of the house, perhaps. Yes. Ah, right. Kimberly, hello. If you're watching, Kimberly, that's Kimberly. And Kimberly, my Facebook, Instagram friend, Kimberly, FSZ, on Instagram. Normally, she likes to do Instagram photos. There's very symmetrical scenes like cathedrals and buildings. So it was quite a bit different for her to come up to the Lake District, and we went out. And I showed her lots of unsymmetrical, random nature stuff. So I'm not quite sure whether any of the pictures that she took will appear on her Instagram. But we had a really fun time. And my sons came along and we went. This is a place called Orest Head, which is above England's longest lake, Windermere. And it's a really nice viewpoint and it's relatively easy to get to. I would prefer to live in an old house, Jadevlog. When I was in my 20s and I lived and worked in that area, my ambition was to live in a little old sort of terraced cottage on a hill. You know, stone-built terrace cottage. I would have been quite happy at that time. There's a sort of a clear view. Later on, you can see sort of pointy hills in the background, and my sons and I went towards the pointy hills on another walk. That's a technical term, pointy hills. trying to think what else to say about Windermere. Longest lake, not the deepest, but the longest in England, 10 miles. I think there's a picture of the Gruffalo coming up soon. For those who don't, Alas wouldn't know who the Gruffalo is. But you can explain to everybody, Alas, who the Gruffalo is. Oh no, that's looking the other way, not to the lake. This is looking back. There's a place called the Winster Valley, I think, down there, and it's there's no lake in it. It's just a small, narrow valley, and one of my favourite places in the Lake District. Lots of little, small, winding country roads and farms, and all tucked away, cosy with little woodland coppices and things. Oh, that's right. There's a plaque that shows all the hills that you can look at and the names of the hills. This is about 20 minutes from Windermere Station. You just cross there's the Gruffalo. Just walking down the hill from that viewpoint, walking through the woods, and came across this. So the Gruffalo is from a children's story, and somebody obviously decided to make a sculpture of it. And I think Kimberly and I took a selfie with the Gruffalo. And this is, if I move my head out of the way, this is Grasmere. We drove on, my sons drove us on to Grasmere, where I used to live and work for a couple of years. It's a village where the poet Wordsworth used to live, and I used to work in a cottage where he lived in the 18th century, and I gave guided tours there. So the boys and I and Kimberly wandered around the village, had lunch, and then walked towards the lake. And this is on the road towards the lake, somebody's garden. Very spectacular. Gothic-y tree there, and a stream with a little bridge over it in your garden. Pretty cool. I was explaining to Kimberly what Grasmere meant. I mean, just like Coniston Old Man was fairly prosaic, like pile of old stones on top of near somebody's farm. Grasmere sounds, Grasmere, yeah, sort of like mere means lake, and grass, you think, lots of lovely green grass like in this picture, but it's actually from wild pig. it's Old Norse or something for wild pig. So actually this is a wild pig lake. So I used to, you can see the little white houses there. That's sort of in that area is where the cottages that I used to work. And we're on the shores of the lake here, the sun taking photographs. Yeah, my sons and I sometimes row on the lake when we come up to visit. It's about an hour. You can do it in about an hour. It's quite pleasant in this, when it's nice weather. There we are, Instagramming. It's a very cosy sort of little lake, this one. It's not as big as Windermere. It's almost completely surrounded by hills. So Jazz, if you're still watching, I can highly recommend Grasmere and Rydal. I actually got married in that village, in Grasmere village. This is like a 19th century boat shed. Like all the moss on the slate. And I've also swum in that lake. And I also got very, very drunk once. Several times. But once we had like volunteers who worked at the museum, often having parties since they were former students. And we used to live around the museum. So we'd often have parties, and we went to the woods near the head of the lake and set a little campfire. And I think I had, I think I'd drunk almost an entire bottle of rum, small hip flask of rum. So I was pretty wasted. And there's a heron. It's kind of pixelated because I had to zoom my camera in. The Gruffalo, J-Vlog with Gruffalo, talk to Alas. It's just a children's, sort of fictitious children's character that I think from the 70s or the 80s. And this is a rather nice view of the lake. It's very placid. There's an island on the middle there. First time I went to that island, when I went to art college, when I was 17, 18, I met a girl on my class who actually was from this village, and I kind of lost my heart a bit to her and didn't dare to say, and then went to visit her once, and we went for a row on that lake and went to that island. There's Kimberly, if you're still watching, Kimberly, hello. Nothing came of it with that girl from art college. But we did. That was the first time I went to the island. We rode there. And this is Grasmere Village. This is the Grasmere Village Grasmere gingerbread shop, where they make famous Grasmere gingerbread. It's a sort of like a flat, biscuity, chewy biscuity cake, very crumbly and gingery, obviously. And this rather sort of forlorn-looking building, the part near the trees there, that used to be the National Trust shop, and very popular, very sort of well visited. But as I was there last week, it was shut down and empty, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. This is a very sort of typical mid-18th century style stone-built cottage. These are just random shots from the village. Yes, they make ginger, and they have ginger wine. Kimberly and I had some hot ginger wine, but it was a bit too hot. That road there that leads up to the hill behind, you can get to a walk there, and this is the sort of the centre of the village. So in the 19th century, it was very popular as a tourist destination. Still is, but in the 19th century, it's really when it first started as a tourist destination. So they built lots of hotels and stuff, and this hotel to the right is actually where I had my wedding reception when I was married. The Wordsworth. This is the church of Grasmere. I have judiciously not shown the church tower, which is getting its sort of 5-yearly refresh. It's all covered in scaffolding and sheeting. So I've just shown the nave of the church, which is next to the river, which I'm taking the shot from a bridge. It's rather nice, very picturesque. And that's the main street of the village leading out. Now, there used to be a nice pie shop on the left here, where this wooden building frame thing. I used to get pie, pie and mushy peas and chips for my lunch in 1989 when I started working as a volunteer. And they had like paper cups with cordial. Paper cup full of cordial and a paper plate with meat pie, chips and mushy peas. And this is the view from the other side of the bridge. The River Brathay, I think this is called. Mushy peas, yuck. Well, it was all right. If you're hungry, it's all right. You know, they didn't cost much. A general view of of the village. That hill, yes, in the background. That road in the picture before. If you kept walking to it, you come to a youth hostel. And if you walk past the youth hostel, you get to the start of the walk, and it goes up that hill. How was it compared? Not as good as Eddie's pie from Skippy's. It was a very British sort of bog standard pie. Right, and then this was like we went walking basically Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the trip. And I had originally planned to go for a low-level walk through woodland. But the hotel in the valley where I thought I could park, they said, sorry, you can't park here because it's reserved for visitors to the hotel. So, oh, bugger. So my son just drove on and on and on until we got to this little tarn, this lake here, in Little Langdale it's called, and this place is called Blee Tarn. There's conveniently a car park next to it. And we saw some people actually swimming. You look at the weather, and it was like 6 degrees and grey and rainy, and there were people swimming in this tarn. And we walked towards the tarn, and the people swimming got out and got changed quickly. There's me doing the hello, I'm here shot. But yes, this is a nice little tarn. It takes about 5 minutes to walk round it. But there's one patch of trees in this valley bottom with the tarn next to it, and the road is like maximum 3 meters wide, and not very well maintained. And there are some passing places, so if you're driving along it and somebody's coming the other way, one of you has to back up or go forward to a passing place and wait, let the other person squeeze past. So it's not very busy there, luckily. Northerners, probably. Yes, Finnish tourists or something like that. This is the woodland path through next to the little tarn. There's me showing the rocks. The rocks get bigger and bigger as you go deeper. Igneous and sedimentary. That's all I know from geology. And there we are at the head of the valley. The head of the Little Langdale Valley, sort of just beyond this hill, it turns into the Great Langdale Valley. If we'd gone any further, there's a point at which when you enter this valley with a road, you can choose. You can choose to go into the Little Langdale Valley and to go on to Blee Tarn. Or you can go left, which is also a very small road that goes over the highest mountain pass in England, called Rhino's Pass. And we didn't do that. I've done it once. I did it on a moped once, which was rather stupid. The moped had automatic gears, and at a certain point the automatic gears said nope, 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 and I had to sort of walk with this moped because it's about 1 in 4 and lots of switchbacks. So that's looking back towards the tarn. We passed the tarn and said, where else can we go? Oh well, there's a hill up there. Let's go up there. And that's when my knee started to ache. So that was actually not the best day of the week that we did that. And as you go up, you get more and more nice views. That's looking down the tarn in its entirety. That patch of trees to the left of the tarn is where we parked the car. And we went up a hill called Side Pike, which is actually at the head of this little valley and forms the junction between this valley and Great Langdale Valley. Yes, it's. I mean, despite the grey skies, the colours are pretty good. And the rocks just zoom up. It's a ruined Goldsworthy. You know Andy Goldsworthy. I did my degree thesis on land art, so I was actually in contact with Andy Goldsworthy at one point. For those not familiar, Andy Goldsworthy is a British land artist who construct things out of stones and leaves and twigs. If you just Google Andy Goldsworthy, and it's really nice, sculptures and stuff. There's a certain point. There's like a huge rock that we went up Side Pike, and I think the next shot is my son. There's a piece of rock, and you can just so squeeze between the piece of rock and the wall. There we go. Just big enough to get through. We didn't do any rock climbing as such, but it was pretty hairy coming down. And this is the road from going back towards the car park. People actually live here, in the middle of an empty valley. Just imagine if you were a little kid and had to go to school, from here. Refill time, yeah. You or me? So that's the house from the other side. Very typical early 19th century, or possibly even 17th century stone-built cottage. Ah, yes, and these are the sheep. My friend in Tokyo, I showed pictures of them to her, and she was quite surprised. And I said that actually they're the native sheep of this area, like the originated herdwicks, they're called, and they're perfectly adapted to living outdoors on the fells, on the hillsides. We were walking up the road, and a load of them were coming down the road and saw us, and then skipped over up the rocks. This, randomly, is not in that valley. This is a former country house from the 1890s, built in Elizabethan style, and this is where my parents. It's now a hotel, and it's where my parents had their 60th wedding anniversary, which is one of the reasons. The main reason, actually, we went to England last week. They had their 50th wedding anniversary there 10 years ago, and my sister had her wedding reception there 30 years ago, and it hasn't changed much. Yes, the walk to school from remote locations. The first I've had to walk to school is like 2 miles. So this is the inside. It's all very, it's late Victorian, early Edwardian in Elizabethan style. It looks like your house. It looks very English. with carpets and woodwork and dark furniture, heavy furniture. You get these all wood paneling. I think I stayed there once. Yes, that's right. I stayed there when it was my sister's wedding. We had rooms up those stairs somewhere. Also all wood panelled and stuff. The hotel has just got older, yes. So there's my parents' 60th wedding anniversary cake. Unfortunately, due to Brexit, we couldn't bring the cake any pizza. I was disappointed. I had 2 pieces of that cake, and it's very good, like rich fruit cake with like 2-inch thick layer of marzipan and icing. And I would have liked to have brought some back, but you can't bring cake back because of Brexit now into Europe. That's the view from terrace outside there, looking over to the sea. Grange over Sands, which is a village where people go to retire. I got my books. Yes, alas, they're on my bedside table, actually, just behind this green screen. And I've already halfway through the book on Edo, Tokyo. Oh yeah, there we go. Got to have a stuffed stag's head and a stuffed ibex head. De rigueur for your Victorian interior. My sister says husband has a Discovery, but his son is old enough to drive his own car. That's it from the outside. Very spectacular. Some guy in the late 19th century bought this. It was a cotton magnate or something like that, and he bought the existing place, which was a 18th century country house, knocked that down and built that. And then in the 1930s, 2 women from the village bought it as a hotel, and then it's been a hotel ever since, taken over by various people. But that was a night. You see, blue sky, sunshine, so that was quite a nice day, and it's stayed that way. It's easy to bring you back. Yes, it's even easier just to scoff it on the. I think we got some cheese at Oxford service station, and my son was worried that we couldn't take that back. I think we brought it back. I may ask him if we've still got some left, because it was rather nice. It's like mature cheddar. You'd have to get a cleaner in though, J-Vlog, if you got that house. Several cleaners. I'm right. Yes, I've not got a sword. Well, they ask you, do you have any knives or guns? When you're at the Eurotunnel, customs, please declare your knives and guns here. Okay. Yes, I'm armed to the teeth. Can I come in? I think that was the last photo, so I shall go back. We have returned. We shall return to my fake living room, and you'll not see my messy bed behind the green screen. So that was my trip to England, and we're going to go back. We shall go back. We shall go back in the summer, and hopefully Instagram will be flooded again. And hopefully I shall go, and if you're still there, Kimberly, I shall meet up with you again. Robo vacuums, yes. All your mortars and machine guns. as my parents are coming in May. So that gives me 2 months to tidy this room up, tidy the house up in general. Yes, it was from midnight yesterday. The French have scrapped all their COVID rules and regulations, so you can travel freely. What a faff it was to upload. You have to upload your passenger locator form. You have to upload your COVID safe ticket, and then they have to check it and blah 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 blah. I think each way it took us over an hour to get these things uploaded onto the computer, onto the website for the tickets. But I'm glad that I did because it just meant that you didn't have to fuss at the border. I said, all right, he's done all he should do. He can go through. So that was good. But now you should be able to move freely. It's scrapped. Yes, the French don't require you to upload a declaration d'honneur that you've never been in contact with anybody with COVID. That's all gone, and you don't have to show your COVID safe ticket. You don't have to wear a mask. It's basically back to normal. For Europe, anyway, in Britain and Europe. I mean, Kimberly will know that it's not the same for Hong Kong, and Chuck will know. There it's lockdown. Lockdown as from today, actually. Lockdown in Hong Kong. And Chuck has been struggling because obviously she works with the theatre. She's employed by the Hong Kong Theatre Academy, and the theatres are shut. She can work from home, but it's not quite the same. And people are just restricted, and it's gone berserk in Omicron has gone berserk in China, whereas over here it's all people can just hug each other and sneeze in each other's faces if they so wish, and everything's back to normal more or less. You just have to wear a mask on the bus or the train, or if you go to an old people's home. I only wear a mask now if I take the train. And the flu, I've never had a flu jab. I've just endured it. We can lick each other again. Yay! Alas. Okay. Three old dudes. Omicron's gone berserk in Germany as well. All right. I may be speaking too soon. I mean... Oh. Your local bookstore is closed because of the flu. Oh yes, Pepper was showing me the onigiri he bought yesterday. I was confused because he went into an expat American and British shop. I said, "You're not going to get an onigiri there," but it's next to a Japanese shop. You get these things in Amsterdam. You don't get them in small towns in Belgium, unfortunately. 300,000 infections a day. Good grief. Yes, don't lick each other in Germany. That's the advice. Just like signs, no licking. Yeah, pretty much. Alas, they've pretty much all gone. People can congregate. There's no social distancing. It's pretty much all gone. as I say, only in old people's homes and on public transport do you have to wear a mask, and those are the only rules, really. The coffee shops, yes, depending on what you want. If you want coffee, they're okay. If you want something else, that's what you go to the coffee shops for in Amsterdam. All rules are gone in Japan. Oh, wait, we didn't have any rules. No, actually, Japan is not doing too bad in comparison to Hong Kong and China and South Korea. They seem to be sort of containing it quite well. There doesn't appear to be sort of any major disasters going on like the other places. Oh, it was bland, Peppo. The onigiri. Oh, I thought it said it had karage in it. And karage sounds okay, like fried chicken. Magic mushroom tea. What are you on about, Robert? A secret weapon, don't test. Yes. No, yes. Maintain the harmony. No rules. Just, do what the government says. There's no rules. Oh, I've made it. I did it. I mean, I'm sorry. I apologize for not doing a live stream last week. But when you've driven 9 hours and you get to your parents and you just want to zonk out, and then your sons want to go walking, and don't want you to sort of be talking to people while you're walking. It was a bit difficult to do live streams, so I've achieved. That is my one Simon NoChaNoMa no live stream week. You should mark it in your diaries. Never once in God knows 3 years, 4 years I've been doing this. Oh, and I have potential guests. Unfortunately, Sunny Foxfangs, who I was trying to get hold of and who said she caught COVID, and she's possibly recovering from that at the moment, so I shall try and contact her, and at some point she may be a guest on the show to complement Squid, who was on earlier, a former partner from their show. But the Japanese Sake sisters, who were on the show months ago, that UFO Bob recommended to me, and I did a show with them and they enjoyed it, and I'm still trying to get them back on, but Coco of the Japanese Sake sisters was back home in Nagano in Japan visiting her parents and various sake breweries to do with their business, and she met another online Japanese sake seller, and said and told her about me, and so it's possible that I should be doing a show with this Japanese sake seller who's trying to promote her sake in California too. So that could be occurring in April. But next week, not a clue. I could be out and about if I can persuade Tom to come and watch your comments. Hey, UFO Bob, hello. I was just talking about you because Coco messaged me on Instagram, and she met another sake promoter in Japan, promoting stuff to California, and she may be a guest as well. So thank you for that. But yes, next week it could be an outdoor live stream, depending on the weather and if I can get Tom to come along. I think the Japanese garden here in Belgium is maybe sort of opening up soon for sakura, so it could be a sakura live stream. We shall see. You heard? Yes. But yes, for now I've achieved like 51 weeks of the year almost. missed a week and hopefully made out for it at the last minute. And I hope you did enjoy the show and my consuming beer. And thank you to Kimberly for meeting up with me last week. And thank you to everybody for keeping me company. I shall now try and recover from this one bottle of beer and I've lost it. It was a good show. Good. I'm glad. So hopefully the lady who's hoping to join sees this and doesn't think, oh my God. But we shall see what happens next week. And I shall see you all again. And thank you for joining. I'm going to click this button here which says end broadcast and go and lie down. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.